don't know like if your savings is going to keep you till the next time that you get another job, and just all of the madness that comes with not knowing your next steps. But without a job, you can sleep. Hi superstars, how you doing? Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to the family. For my OGs, welcome back. My name is Mary J, and on this channel I talk about product management, skincare, lifestyle, tech, anything that I find interesting and I feel like you're going to find interesting as well. And I know that for you to have clicked on this video, you will find this interesting. So let's jump right into the video. So today's topic is going to be a very vulnerable topic. It's going to I'm going to be talking about how I quit my job about 2 months to Christmas, 2 months to my birthday, which is a big deal, and how that life has been and has gotten to this point. So a few months back, is it up to a few months back, I quit my job. I'm not going to go into detail as to why I did that. It was just me choosing myself over a situation that I did not have control over, and it was a very hard decision. Um, the first time I resigned from a job, it was a hard decision. I feel like for every time that I have resigned from a job, it has always been like a forced decision. But this time around, barring all of the advice that I would usually give people when they come to me and tell me that they want to resign from their job, I didn't have another job on the line. And this is around the time when the crisis in the country is crazy. Like things are crazy expensive, things are not going the way that we thought things were going to be going. And it was just it was just something that I did not expect to happen in the middle of a month, but it did happen. And I just want to share how that impacted me and how like I was able to live through it, and really what people don't tell you about quitting a job without having another one on the line. I would not advise people to do that. But in this case, it was really important for me to actually choose myself and for me to find another path. So in this video, I don't want it to be a I don't want it to be a sad video. I don't want it to be a boring video. I'm gonna be okay. I'm always gonna be okay. But I just wanted to share with you guys how that was, what I was doing like in the interim, how it felt, and just all of the emotions, the tips that I have for anybody that might be going through something like this, especially if you cannot talk about it in the open, but you are struggling with it like internally. How I was able to keep my head above water, because a lot of times it felt like I was drowning. So how I was able to keep myself above water and just basically gist with you guys. Okay, so let's get into the video. So I'm going to start with what nobody tells you about quitting your job without any plan or without anything in play. It's one of the hardest things. First off, your finances are going to be affected. You already plan that, oh, you are going to probably have a certain amount saved probably at the end of the year. And for me, it happening during Ember month was really crazy because first off, salary would have helped with Christmas preparations, with birthday preparations, and all of that. Salary would definitely have helped with that. But leaving a job and just like out of the blues would mess with your finances. That's like the first thing that it would mess with. There's no income that's coming at the end of the month. You don't know like if your savings is going to keep you till the next time that you get another job, and just all of the madness that comes with not knowing your next steps. Do you get? So the first thing that will mess up is your finance. That's the first thing. So just have it at the back of your mind that my finance might be a mess. During the course of this video, I will talk about how like to cushion some of these things, but for this segment of the video, I just want to talk about how like the effects that it has on you. Now, another thing is you may even enter depression. You might get to a point where you feel like you're worthless. You feel like your confidence has dwindled. Now, this did not happen to me because the choice I made was the right choice. But imagine if you were in maybe in an abusive environment, in an abusive workplace, or in a workplace that probably does not align with your values, and a lot of things were just going wrong and you just had to leave. And maybe when you leave, the first question that you would ask yourself is, should I actually have left? Should I have continued, like just kept on managing until things get better? So all of this would affect your confidence. You would even be asking yourself that, are you even good enough? Like, were you even good enough to be doing the job in the first place? Do you think that you should have still stayed? And if you have wonderful people that you work with, like if your teammates are wonderful and maybe it's just management that is your problem, or maybe it's a problem that you can't live with and you just have to leave the place. All of that messes with your head. You may just shut down on everything. Another thing that can happen is people will start to judge you, especially people that probably don't know the full story. They would start thinking that, oh, so how are you going to eat? What is going to happen? The first questions that people might ask you is, so what are you going to do? And when that happens, it messes with your head, especially when you don't know what you are going to do. It messes with like your whole psyche, like, oh, what are you going to do? Especially if quitting was like unexpected. Maybe you planned that you weren't going to quit till like a specific time, but your hands were now tired and you had to quit around another time that you were not supposed to. It gets really difficult when somebody now asks you, like maybe you tell a friend of yours that you quit from your job, and the first question that the person is asking is, so what are you going to do now? But yeah, that's like another struggle that you would have to face. Another thing, which in my opinion might not really be a problem, is time management might be a struggle. You know, when you were working, you already know that, okay, you wake up at 6, you have to get ready for work, you commute to the office, you come back from the office, you come back home at a particular time, you have breakfast at a particular time. But without a job, you can sleep, which is why I say is a good thing, because without a job you can sleep for longer. You can do the things that you planned to do, that work was holding you back from. And if sleep is it, it is what it is. You can decide to probably start exercising more, start doing something that is for you and not something that the corporate world has forced you to do just because you are working. Another thing is that it can be very lonely, especially if most of your friends are working. You feel left out. That's one. Maybe times when you might want to talk to somebody, you can't talk to the person because the person is in a meeting. It just feels like you are an outcast. Now I'm going to speak about what I did after I quit. So the first thing that I did was I tried to re-strategize. I thought about, oh, what is the next steps? I remember what I said before, that financial constraint is like the first problem that you will have. I had to go into my savings. So usually, if I was going to do this and I had planned to do it, I would have looked at my savings prior to. But since this was something that I had to do at the time when I had to do it, the first thing I had to do was to look at my savings and figure out how long it's going to take me before I go completely broke and bankrupt. So I already saved an amount of my savings, like in form of emergency fund. I'm not sure I'll call it emergency fund because it was just like a case of, oh, save a particular amount every month into my savings account, and just when it needs to be used, it needs to be used. And I've had this since my first job where I was earning um how much was I earning that time? But I've had this since like my first job, and I've been putting a particular amount of money. If my salary increases, the amount of money that I put into the savings increases. And I've had this. So I just had to look into that purse and figure out how long it's going to take me for me to be able to stay afloat till I'm able to get another job. So that was the first thing I did. The second thing I did was to sleep. And it sounds very funny, but I rested. I tried not to worry, especially because I didn't want my mom to also be worried. So, and trust me, she was like really amazing because she was even cracking jokes around the first week. Now, I was distraught. I would not lie. It was one of the saddest things that happened to me that I had to do. I was distraught. I was sad. But there was no need dwelling on that sadness. I feel like that's one thing that I have seen myself do over time. When something I consider bad happens to me, I tend to jump into solutioning as fast as I can so that I don't dwell on it. But this time around, I decided to marinate in the situation. Okay, so what's the worst that would happen? So I slept. I think for the first week after it happened, I was sleeping. And then when I knew that, oh, if I continued in this way, I would probably slip into depression or slip into something else. I needed to now get myself up. So the next thing I did was to continue with my 10K daily steps, which was something I was already doing. But it afforded me more time to do this. Now, before I had quit my job, I was only doing it for about 45 minutes to 1 hour. But since I didn't have a job, I was able to do it for like 1 hour, 30 minutes. I was able to complete my steps more. So now I had another thing that I could channel my energy into, and that helps me to not slip into depression because trust me, it's very easy. If you already have your life planned out and something out of the blue scatters that plan, it's very easy for you to want to push and go into another kind of mindset or into depression. So that exercise I was doing every morning helped me. It helped me like change the trajectory of my life, helped me know another place to go through. Do you understand? And not be stuck in like thinking I'm a failure or thinking did not, I did something that I wasn't supposed to do. Going on those walks, jogging, just exercising, because doing that also helps me wake up early in the morning, which is even a segue into the next thing I did, which was to pray more and to attend mass. So as part of my 10K steps, I pray in the morning. I pray my rosary in the morning on my walk, and then I'm able to attend mass. I'm able to visit the Blessed Sacrament. So doing that also like helps me to see that there's no need for me to worry because I have a father who never fails. He might probably be late in human thinking because it's us that usually think that it's late. But your God is never late. That's just the truth. So I had to now channel my thinking into being grateful that I had something that I could do and learn from because it was an experience. I had something that I could do and learn from for a particular time and be better at. Do you understand? And then the next thing that I focused on was this content creation. And I'm so glad that I have content creation because it also gave me another purpose. It gave me something else to be interested in. So I was doing my creating my content, making sure I was pushing out content and just focusing on something else. And that now became my new job. So instead of the normal time that, oh, when I wake up, I come back, I get into work, and then I have only like 1 hour in my break to work on my content. And then after work, um, towards like night time, I will now continue working on my content. I had more time to work on my content, which I considered a good thing because I was now able to do more things, do more research, figure out like more things I wanted to do. But I was able to get into another um purpose, to be fair. And I was also able to take more breaks during the day. I was able to help out around the house. The chores that I probably would not have had time to do during the time that I was working, I was able to do that. I know me and my mom, we were able to go to Mile 12 to buy things for the house, which is something that I probably wouldn't have had time to do because I know you have to do that like in the morning. But I basically applied myself into other things that would matter to me while I was marinating in the situation. So I didn't allow myself to be stuck on thinking about it every time, thinking about the fact that, oh, I don't have a job now, what's going to happen, what's going to happen. Now, there were times where I worried. Hmm. There were times where I worried, and those times I spoke to my friends. That's just the truth. Those times when I knew that I was slipping into a dark place, I spoke to my friends, and they were able to bring me up. And that's one thing that I would also advise. Don't lock yourself up. Don't shut yourself out. Don't shut your friends out. Don't shut people that would help you out. And speaking to my friends really helped me think about these things in a different light, think about the fact that I am better than the situation. And one other thing that I did was to start looking at my LinkedIn, looking at my CV, talking to people that I know would help me if there's a job opening somewhere. So that's like the next thing that I did. So I spoke to that are in roles that are similar to what I do, or people that I know that are in companies that are similar to what I do, to ask if they have openings in their company and if they can help me to get another job. So, but I didn't really dwell on that. So those things that I did are now like things that I would tell people to always do. So the first thing that I would advise you to do if you are in this kind of shoe is to assess your finances, which was what I said. The first thing I did, assess what you have. It's like that sounds like Access Bank. Look at your finances, look at like your savings, look at how much you have, and look at how much you would budget in a month for your essentials, and figure out how long that would take you before you find a job, so you know that you are working within that time frame. Now, this is not the time for you to start buying things that you would ordinarily not buy. This is not me saying that you shouldn't treat yourself, especially when you know that you actually deserve it. I am saying that this is the time to now tighten your belt too, so that you have like leeway, you have more leeway for a time when you haven't gotten a job. Especially if you don't have another person that you can run to. If you're like me that is always claiming independent girl, which is something that I'm working on, because you should always like ask for help if you need help. But if you know that you probably struggle with that, or finding help is not so easy, doesn't come like before you would find help, you probably have to struggle a lot. Now is the time for you to tighten your waistband. Look at your budget. What can you remove from your budget that you know that you can live without, at least just for that time frame, until when you get a job that can help you to get back to your full self, that can help you to like, finance those things that you would ordinarily not take because you are now low on income. Because it's really important for you to know how much you have and how long that will take you. Really, very, very important. The next thing is to define what your next steps will be. What are the things that you would want to do? What I would advise your next steps to be would be to clean up your CV, clean up your LinkedIn, clean up on your like interview skills, your negotiating skills, just clean up on things that you would know would help you in job hunting. Because job hunting is like a job on its own. So clean up on all of those things and then start looking at job boards. Look at LinkedIn, look at Glassdoor, Indeed. There are like some other products. If you're a product manager like me, there are like some other product sites that you can go to find jobs. Look at them, look through them, and like start applying. Now, one thing that I did that I know helped me was I didn't start applying immediately. I took a step back to reevaluate myself, reevaluate my life, reevaluate things, and to also rest. Because I have been working like back to back from when I left school, and I didn't have time to take a step back. But this was a forced, this was forced, like this was like an imposed taking a step back situation. So I decided to use that time to rest. So I took out 1 week and I rested. So even as I would say, oh, start applying, it's okay to not start applying immediately. It's okay to take a step back to figure out what you even want to do. Do you want to still continue doing the role that you're currently doing, or do you want to start out in a new role? Just take a step back and reassess everything. Reassess your next steps. Reassess everything. Reassess what you would love to do. And then that would also even inform the next kind of roles that you'll be applying for, and the next kind of things that you'll be doing. Another thing for you to do is to stay busy and productive. Like I said, I decided to start going on walks. I decided to start focusing on my content creation. I decided to like focus on other things that matter. So you need to figure out what those things will be for you and start being productive. If you wallow, that's the recipe for depression. And I'm just completely honest with you. If you wallow, you would fall into depression. And no job is worth you falling into depression for, to be honest. There's no job that is worth it. So once you have figured out that, oh, this is what I want to do next, just try to work towards that. Try to be busy. That would help you with like your mindset shifts. That would help you to just stay on track, because it's very easy for you to decide that, oh, you're not doing again, and then you want to off yourself or something. But please, it's not worth it. Do you get? It's not. The next thing, like I said, I did was to start talking to people that know that are in the same line of work, which is leading us to like networking strategically. You can talk to your former boss if you guys were in, like, if you guys ended things on good terms, and if you know that your former boss has your best interest at heart. You can talk to your friends. You can even, I did a post on LinkedIn. You can even post on LinkedIn, like, states that you're looking for a job. If you want to see the post, I'll probably link it in the description so that you can see what I did with it. I didn't make it seem like, oh, I'm looking for a job, blah 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 blah. I tried to make it like very creative. It took me a while to actually put up that post, like put it together and put it up, but I was very excited about putting it up. But I knew that I had to put up something on LinkedIn, at least, like, let something come out of it. I also put it in such a way that I wasn't out of a job, because I wasn't necessarily out of a job. I moved my side gig to my main gig, which is the creation. So I did not focus on the fact that I was out of a job. I focused on the fact that I was looking for another job. Do you understand? I feel like those are two different things. Forget the fact that you're out of a job and start to make posts or start to apply like you are just looking for a new job and you're probably tired of your old job. Do you understand? Another thing is to protect your mental health. Very, very important. Very, very important. Like I said, wallowing would help you sink into depression. Once you figure out, like, you see yourself sleeping, you see yourself getting into habits that you know is not going to help you in the long run, you need to take a step back. So always think about things that would help you improve your confidence. There's one thing I usually tell people: have like a folder of your wins. Just for every win that you have, put it up in that folder. So every time that you feel your mental health like deteriorating, you can go back to that folder and see like the achievements that you have and be very proud of that. Now, I am also like very wary of a situation where you are tying your self-worth to the work that you do. It's very easy to do that, but I think we need to cut ourselves away from that kind of mentality, from that kind of mindset. As much as your job gives you purpose and shows you the kind of value that you can put into um life, your life itself is purposeful, regardless of the job that you do, regardless of the kind of job that you do. Your life itself is purposeful. So you shouldn't be stuck on thinking that, oh, because you don't have a job, like, life has ended. No, life hasn't ended. You are going to bounce back. You are going to be better. I am bouncing back already. I have another video where I'm going to talk about like bouncing back and like another life update. And you guys are going to be very excited about it because I am already bouncing back. So you are going to bounce back. It's just going to take time. Now I'm going to talk about the tips that you would use, like, once you are ready to start applying for a job. I'm going to talk about the tips that you would use to get a new job. So the first thing that you should do is rework your CV. And I know I've been saying this since. Rework the CV, like your general CV that you would use, update it. There are some things that you probably did at your previous job, the one that you just quit, or the one that you have done in the past that you probably did not add to your CV. Now is a good time to add it. Apply to jobs even without having like 100% of the requirements. That's one thing, especially women. That's one thing that we need to have at the back of our mind. If you have seen like the requirements that the job has, and you fit it like 60%, apply to that job. If you are probably a product manager and you see roles that senior product manager, and I know that most senior product manager roles, they'll be telling you that, oh, have 5 to 7 years of experience and the likes. Apply to the job. The worst that you get is a no. That's just it. The worst that you get is a no. So fine tune your CV, clean it up after applying to jobs. Very important. Another thing that you should do is to optimize your LinkedIn profile for jobs. If you didn't used to post on LinkedIn, you can start posting if you feel like that's something that interests you. If it's not something that interests you, it's also fine. But you can also do this thing where you can go on LinkedIn and then search for hiring, and then you can toggle it to like within the last 24 hours. So you can do hiring product manager, and then toggle the parts that says how long. There's a part that says post people, photos, etc. So you go to post, and then you do like 24 hours, and then you're able to see like the hire people that have put out that they are hiring product managers within 24 hours, and you can reach out to them, get like connected with them, and tell them that, oh, you're interested in the role that they have put up. That's like another way for you to be top of mind, and for you to also like be applying to jobs that are just opening, not jobs that you have seen that have been up since like 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago. There's every probability that those jobs have been filled already. Now, as much as you are going to be applying for jobs like on LinkedIn, there are also some jobs on LinkedIn that are spam. So I've even noticed this thing that there are some people that are always putting up the same jobs. Like you're always saying, oh, reposted, oh, reopened. Just avoid, and find the ones that actually work for you. Another thing that you can also do on LinkedIn is to start connecting with like people that within the same space as you, people that you know are team leads, people that you know would be hiring managers, connecting to them and like letting them know that you're interested in a role. Also make sure that all of the work that you have done is on your is on your LinkedIn profile. Make sure that your LinkedIn profile is updated, is SEO enabled. I have a video up on optimizing your LinkedIn, so you can check it out. I'm going to link it in this video. You can check it out so that you know how to like optimize your LinkedIn. Make sure that all of the words that people will be searching for your role is on your LinkedIn profile. Do you understand? And eventually things will look up for you. Another thing that you should do is create a schedule for job hunting. Like I already said that you need to be productive, you need to figure out like other things that you would want to be doing. It's not only job hunting, because you are going to be bored, you are going to be tired, you are going to be frustrated. Job hunting is not for the weak. That's just the truth. Job hunting is not for the weak. So if you're going to put yourself in a box and say that you're going to be job hunting throughout, frustration, frustration, frustration. Do you understand? So the best thing is for you to have a schedule. Let's say, for example, you decide that you're going to put like 4 hours, 5 hours in a day to job hunting, and then you can focus on other things. And those other things that you're focusing on, you can even post about it. So have a schedule that you're going to be working with for job hunting. Don't just be stuck on, oh, every day you wake up, you open your laptop, it's job hunting. You close your laptop at night, it's job hunting. Try to do other things so that you are not bored and you are not frustrated. Another thing is that you should do is to improve your skills. Now is a good time where you have like free time to take the courses that you probably were not able to take during the time that you had a job. Now is a good time to, if you want to be more technical as a product manager, you can now start taking like other technical courses or technical things, reading more articles, like learning more about being technical. Do you understand? Like if you want, whatever you want to do, whatever upskilling process that you want to go through, if it's to take a course, if it's to join a boot camp, if it's to whatever thing that you know that would help you upskill, now is a good time for you to start taking it. Upskill, be better, so that even the next role that you are applying for, you can even ask for time 50% more than your current role, or even 100% more. It depends on how much you're earning currently and how much you want to earn in your next role. So, but you cannot just be stuck on where you are before and imagine that life would become rosy. I don't know if that would work for anybody, but I know that because of the way things are, it might not be the case. So the best thing for you to do is also to upskill, be better. Another thing that you need to do is to start preparing for interviews, start practicing for interviews, start noting the kind of questions that are asked during interviews, behavioral questions that you know that would be asked during interviews. Start like practicing how you would answer them. You can probably give yourself like 1 hour within your job hunting schedule for you to like practice interviews. You can have this with your friends, have this with like people that maybe with your mentor or people that you know matter to, people that you know can help you be better in terms of like interviewing and the likes. Have those behavioral interview, have those preparations in place so that when it is time for you to start interviewing is a lot easier. There's one thing that I always do anytime I have an interview, or anytime I know that I am preparing for an interview. I have a document where I put the kind of questions that they are, and I put that they ask. I put the kind of questions that they ask during those interviews, and I put my answers on that in that document, so that and that actually helps me during the time that I was job hunting now. So in the past, I was taking interviews. I had like some international interviews that I had taken, and I had that document. So all I needed to do was just to go back to that document, update it with like the more recent information, and use that document to start my preparation. So that would usually help, so that you have like something that you can always go back to when you are trying to prepare for your interviews. Another thing is you should not underestimate your network. Don't underestimate the people that you know and the people that you have in your corner. That's why I have this thing where I say, oh, don't burn bridges unless it is absolutely necessary. Don't burn bridges. You can talk to like the people that you currently know. You can talk to your former boss. They probably have like a network that is higher than your network, where they can also like link you up with people that are looking for people in your current role. So you can even have conversations with people that are in companies, or people that are in roles that you know you want to enter into. You can have those conversations with them in terms of like informational conversations, not necessarily an interview. Like you can literally reach out to people, send out cold emails, which is or do like cold connections on LinkedIn. You can reach out to them and be like, oh, you want to have like a quick chat with them. Now, this chat that you're having with them is not like you're going there to ask them for a job, because usually it doesn't work, it does not end well. You are having those conversations to learn more about maybe their role, learn more about their company. If they give you the time of day, of course, it just puts you at the top of mind whenever a job opens up in their company, because most times these jobs are filled within the company before it even gets out. Sometimes the job openings that you're even seeing out are already filled. They just put it out just because maybe like for regulatory purposes, or for like investors to see and stuff like that. Most times those jobs are filled in on the back end, not what we all can see. So if you have already made an impact in their lives, if you've already made an impact in like the way you have spoken with them, and they feel like, oh, this person has a good grasp of this role, there's every possibility that when a role opens up, whether you're looking for a job, whether you're not looking for a job, there's every possibility that when a role opens up, you be like top of mind for them to actually reach out to. So these are the tips that I know that have helped me, and the tips that I know that would help you in like job hunting during this session. And then there's one thing that I noticed about myself that I feel like would help other people, and would probably help even me, because it's something that I have noticed about myself, that I noticed during the time when I was in this crunch. When I tell people that I am out of a job, and the first question that they ask me is, have I started applying? I'm taken aback. And I feel like maybe you might be feeling the same way if you are in this situation. When I tell my friends that, oh, I'm out of a job, the first question that I noticed gave me another reaction was, how are you? That's like the first question that I noticed gave me another reaction from somebody just asking me, have you started applying? Have you started applying made me feel like, does this person feel like I don't know what I want to do next? How are you makes it feel like the person is actually checking in on me. Do you understand? So if you have friends that are in this situation, the first thing that you should probably ask them is how they are and how they feel about the situation. Because everybody knows that the next thing for you to do is to start applying. Everybody knows that, but not everybody knows how you are, or not everybody knows how that your friend is. So it worked for me, or this is how my experience was, and I feel like maybe the next person might also be feeling that same way. So if you have a friend that is going through this situation, and you know that you have the person's best interest at heart, the first question that you should be asking the person is, how are you? How are you feeling with this situation? How are you feeling? How are you? Goes a long way. You can also press one or two things into the person's hand. Really, it doesn't really hurt. Just, press one or two things. Send the person food, send the person like a cookie, send the person biscuits, send the person a drink. Just send the person anything. Yeah. Just so the person feels loved, so the person doesn't feel like a loser. And if you're in this situation, trust me, you're not a loser. I'm sure that there was a good reason why you left. There was a good reason why you are in this situation in the first place. So if you quit your job like without planning for something else, and you are in a situation where you're job hunting, I pray that you find another job as soon as possible. I pray that you find the peace to be in this situation and see that God has a bigger plan for you that is different from what you can currently see. Because it is so easy for us to be stuck on what we can see and not what God has planned for us for the future. Do you understand? So I pray that God grants you peace, grants you grace, grants you favor in the job market. Yeah, if you've watched to this point, you're a superstar. I tried as much as possible to make sure that this video is not bleak or is not dry or is not sad, because it is not. We're not sad over here. We are happy. We are smiling. We are excited people. So I tried as much as possible to be vulnerable, but also to be lively. Do you get? Because I don't like sadness. I've never liked it. Thank you for watching to this point. If you have anybody that is in this crunch as well, you can share this video with them, like this video and subscribe. Drop a comment. You can drop a word of encouragement for me. Drop a word of encouragement for any other person that is in this kind of situation. And just make the world a better place. Okay? See you in my next video, and I hope you enjoy it. Bye guys.